Do we have everybody's attention now when we say that Triple H is the worst booker ever in wrestling history?
I swear for the life of me, you WWE tribalists have zero room to talk right now. From this moment forward, whenever you guys get online to belittle, disrespect, or hate on another wrestling promotion, I'm going to immediately point to this segment right here on Monday Night Raw.
I'm planning to stop watching WWE for a full calendar month after SummerSlam, and here's why.
WWE are making one huge mistake with Bron Breakker, and it's staring us right in the face.
I'm being so serious. I was in such a bad mood after Smackdown last night that I decided to compile a list of everything that WWE is currently doing or has done in the last year or so to just piss me off.
So it seems like many wrestling fans are finally speaking out about what's happening to the modern WWE product, and many of them are saying the same thing. Between the high ticket prices, repetitive shows, and little to no storylines, many fans believe something has fundamentally changed with the WWE product, and now some of them are slowly switching to AEW. After seeing the same concerns come up again and again, I put together some of the most interesting clips so you can decide for yourself. But before we continue, remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another upload. I upload new wrestling content just about every day, so if you enjoy videos like this, you're in the right place. With that being said, let's get back into the video.
WWE are making one huge mistake with Bron Breakker, and it's staring us right in the face. Bron Breakker should be Braun Steiner. And Seth saying you ain't even number 2 Steiner just proves that point. Because let's be honest, Braun being a Steiner isn't a trivia, it's in his identity. His dad is Rick Steiner, his uncle is Scott Steiner. There's so much you can do with this. The name has such a legacy, and Bron Breakker just sounds like a made-up character, not a real person. Even his real name, Rhett Steiner, it's believable, it's someone you can relate to, and it's someone that you can actually invest in. Because if his name was Braun Steiner, for example, that promo last night would have hit different. Instead, it felt so flat. And to be honest, it's why most people didn't really buy into the promo. WWE have a gold mine right here, and they're not utilizing it to its fullest. What do you think? Do you think Bron Breakker should be called Braun Steiner at least? Let me know in the comments.
I swear for the life of me, you WWE tribalists have zero room to talk right now. From this moment forward, whenever you guys get online to belittle, disrespect, or hate on another wrestling promotion, I'm going to immediately point to this segment right here on Monday Night Raw. Because what in the actual... Trust me when I say I tried to find any other segments throughout wrestling history that was worse than this. Triple H dressing up as Kane to mess with an unalive body, Mae Young giving birth to a hand. But because this segment proves the incompetence of WWE TKO and the downward spiral that the company is currently in, this segment right here has to be on top of the list. When we look back 20 years from now on a Dark Side of the Ring episode and people are explaining why WWE went out of business, they're going to point to this segment right here being a key contributor. Now, does WWE have the opportunity to turn this around? 100%. But we know that's not going to happen because despite how much negative attention they get for being complete ass, we're still going to see segments like this. We're still going to see celebrities that nobody gives a shit about. And we're still going to see the same wrestlers get the same opportunities while the other ones with potential are rotting away in catering. I know Eric Bischoff got a lot of heat for saying that TNA can be the number 2 wrestling company in the world, but he legitimately told zero lies. Because if you legitimately think this company is either number 1 or number 2, then you need to stay off the wheel.
Carmelo Hayes keeps getting robbed of huge opportunities. After getting called up from NXT to Smackdown, Carmelo Hayes finally found himself when he became the United States Champion, where he would put on an incredible match defending the title each week. His performance helped bring credibility back to that title, and made it one of the most prestigious championships in WWE. Yet when it came time for WrestleMania, WWE had Carmelo Hayes lose the United States Championship out of nowhere to Sami Zayn, and they didn't even let him have his rematch at WrestleMania. So after all of his hard work to earn a spot at WrestleMania, Carmelo Hayes was left off the card entirely. And now the same thing is happening with SummerSlam. Carmelo Hayes was able to build himself back up as a United States Championship challenger, and he was feuding with Trick Williams going into SummerSlam. Yet instead of getting a match for all of his hard work in this feud, Baron Corbin shows back up out of nowhere. He attacks both Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes, and yet the match for SummerSlam is just Trick Williams versus Baron Corbin for the United States Championship, with Carmelo Hayes being left off of a huge premium live event once again.
Did WWE just write off Bayley? That is the question coming out of Saturday night's main event after Bayley versus Lyra, which, by the way, was a tremendous match. Hopefully Lyra's okay. It looked like she broke her nose in this match, but Lyra does get the victory, choking Bayley out with a bulldog choke. However, it's what happened afterwards that makes people question whether Bayley is done with WWE. And that was Lyra continuing the bulldog choke, throwing Bayley into the post, and body slamming her onto the steel steps in a vicious attack that looks like Bayley was just potentially written off. Now, there wouldn't be speculation that Bayley was leaving WWE if her contract wasn't reportedly ending relatively soon by like the end of 2026. And there wasn't a ton of speculation that Bayley may go to AEW for various reasons. One is the Mercedes connection. Obviously, Bayley and Mercedes is one of the most iconic feuds in wrestling history. And Mercedes just posted a photo recently of her and Bayley with a Wrestle Dream graphic, potentially teasing a match that could happen this year in AEW. Not only that, but Bayley is one of the more underappreciated wrestlers throughout the recent times in WWE, as she is certainly an extremely accomplished wrestler, but it always felt like she didn't get the same praise as the other four horsewomen. And it would make sense for Bayley to go out putting somebody over like Lyra before she goes to AEW, where I imagine that the fans and the company would appreciate Bayley a ton just because of how great she is in the ring. And this could be a big chapter for her to have iconic matches with the likes of Mercedes, Chris Statlander, and Willow. I'm very interested to see if Bayley shows back up on Monday Night Raw, or if we see Bayley soon in AEW. I imagine news is going to come out in the next few days.
What the heck did WWE do to Blake Monroe? Like, this woman went from being one of the best young prospects in the world, whether she was in Stardom or in AEW, and many people were even saying that she is going to be the next woman to be running the women's wrestling, and she was going to be the face of it. And then when he got told that she was going to WWE, many of us said that she should be on the main roster because there's not many on that main roster that are better than her. She is probably a top 3 to 5 talent, to just looking absolutely sloppy in WWE. Now, see, at first I tried giving Blake Monroe a pass because the women that she was wrestling simply just weren't that great of wrestlers. They were cool, but they were college athletes turned wrestlers with no actual wrestling background at all in the slightest, meaning that they didn't have much experience in a match. So while they could do a few things here and there, they didn't know how to lead a match, the psychology of a ring, none of that at all. And with WWE's wrestling being so much different than the rest of the wrestling world, it was going to take Blake Monroe some time to be able to adjust and adapt to the roster, so she was going to need to be led in a lot of her early matches. But like I said, she was fighting women that didn't really know much about wrestling, so I kind of gave her a pass because I was like, you know, she's not the problem here. It's simply her opponents are not able to uplift her the way that they need to uplift her so that she can continue to learn that WWE style. She's being thrown into these matches, likely having to lead these matches, which is just not going to be a great thing for someone that doesn't really know the style that well. But then tonight happens and she goes up against arguably her best talent that she's gone up against in NXT since Jordynne Grace. And once again, the same struggles that persisted in her other matches were now in this match as well. Blake Monroe just simply looked sloppy in this match. She looked like she was out of place many times. She looked confused at times. I don't know if she was not in sync with Tatum Paxley. I don't know if she was just forgetting spots. I can't really tell you. And one of the few times that she did look good in the match was when she hit the sunset powerbomb, but this spot was so forced. And I just don't understand how this happened, because other wrestlers that have came from, you know, the indies or AEW or TNA, wherever, they've all acclimated very well to WWE style. It's just Blake Monroe that seems like as if she's not fitting in with the program. I don't know if this is all by choice, if this is something that she's doing with her character because she's really playing into that whole lifetime of mediocrity thing and she wants people to keep talking about it. So she's like, okay, I'm just going to keep being trash and trash and trash and more trash until I finally reach that point in the story where I need to just get back to being who I was, which I'm hoping that's the case, because that's what I predicted a few months ago, that maybe Blake's just being trashed on purpose. Because the woman's only 27 years old. She's in NXT because she wants to be, so I wouldn't be surprised if she's just kind of, you know, playing with this year to be able to make herself look as bad as she possibly can before giving that, you know, real Blake Monroe-ness. Then there's also the world that this is WWE trying to break Blake Monroe down as much as possible so that they can look like as if they built her up into being this star. That's what WWE would do sometimes. But it's also a very real possibility that Blake Monroe just simply does not fit WWE. She might have the look of a WWE wrestler, but maybe her style just does not acclimate to WWE. And there are plenty of wrestlers that we have seen like that. So I'm not saying that, oh, I just want her to go back to AEW or anything like that. I'm saying that we've seen Toni Storm and Swerve Strickland not work in WWE despite being very great before WWE. maybe it's just a thing of she's not meant to work here. I don't know. Maybe I'm being a bit harsh, but I feel like as if this woman that just showed so much potential to be the best women's wrestler in the game, to be running women's wrestling, to be the face of women's wrestling, is simply just not there anymore. This is not that same young talent that she once was just a year and a half ago. It feels like all the other young prospects have simply just lapped her at this point in time. But y'all go ahead and let me know y'all thoughts and opinions on everything discussed in this video down below. And if you haven't already, make sure you like and follow for more.
Roxanne Perez is a prodigy, but gets jobbed out every single week. This woman gets pinned damn near every single week. Her win-loss record, oh gosh, oh man, it is horrendous. As I said, this woman to me was never a world champion material. But y'all sat up here and tried to bash me. I made this video months ago, almost about a year ago, last year. And people are saying, oh, you're crazy, you're crazy. Mind you, Roxanne Perez has not even won a mid-card title yet. Keep that in mind. She hasn't even won one mid-card title yet. But apparently I was crazy when I said that she wasn't world champion material, or she was probably never going to win a world title in this company. Like, mind you, she has never won a mid-card title. And that's the lowest. And y'all thought she was going to go up here. Well, mind you, she can't even win matches. But apparently she's a world champion. Oh, okay. She should win a world champion. Okay. Okay, guys. Okay.
Smackdown sucks. I'm being so serious. I was in such a bad mood after Smackdown last night that I decided to compile a list of everything that WWE is currently doing or has done in the last year or so to just piss me off. The first four I have up top here: the handling of Julia, the handling of Jordan Grace, the handling of Blake Monroe, the handling of my favorite wrestler, Johnny Gargano. By the way, comment down below whatever you want me to add to this list, because I just thought of a few off the top of my head. And there's the lovely handling of the tag team division, right? We love that, the New Day and everything that we had when we had the greatest tag team division of all time on SmackDown, right? I won't lie, Haku pulling up, that was pretty cool though. But handling the tag team division overall, just putrid. Then there's the over-reliance on Cody and Roman, the fact that they need to be at the top, they need to be champions, and we're not going to change anything about Cody's character at all because he needs to be the golden boy babyface. Bro, Cody Rhodes is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, and I'm sitting here talking like this just because of how bad SmackDown is. And there's the 8,000 commercials and ads and spamming ads in the ring, spamming ads during matches. Then there's Carmelo Hayes missing both WrestleMania and SummerSlam despite being involved in the United States Championship picture. He was literally the US champion like a couple of weeks before WrestleMania. Braun Breaker being relegated to a love angle in a tag team that just won't end in the vision. Where the hell is Ilya Dragunov? I'm telling you, man, SmackDown is a disaster right now. Wrestling as a whole is doing great, right? If you look at AEW, things are great over there. There's a piece of WWE that's just missing from our hearts, and I don't know how to fix it. So give me more stuff. Give me more stuff you're upset about. Let me know, and I will add it to the list. And we'll continue to compile this for the rest of the year, and then we'll go through it at the end of the year.
Do we have everybody's attention now when we say that Triple H is the worst booker ever in wrestling history? Did anybody see what just happened on SmackDown when Randy Orton for weeks on weeks and weeks was talking to somebody on the phone? And we all thought it could have been possibly The Rock or any other big-time legend in association with Cody Rhodes. No, it was Pat McAfee the entire time. And he, of all people, is the person that Triple H has picked to be the person that Randy Orton was talking to over the phone. Are you fucking serious? It makes no sense whatsoever to bring Pat McAfee on board into what just happened with Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes. They completely diminished. And what I have been saying since the beginning of this possible rivalry that this started, that Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes could have been the rivalry of the year for the WWE. But they just ruined it in its entirety. And this match no longer belongs to be the main event of WrestleMania Night 1. That belongs to Obafemi and Brock Lesnar. By far, by a mile. Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes' story build from the middle of March till now has been so beyond pathetic. It doesn't even deserve to be at WrestleMania by the way this thing is being handled by Triple H and his team. It is so bad to the point where SmackDown has obviously become the most unwatchable show in wrestling right? You can even make a case that WrestleMania Night 1 is not even worth watching due to the lack of amount of builds and the throwaway matches that they put on together based off Triple H and his creative team. It is not worth it to watch WrestleMania Night 1 anymore. I'm sorry to say this. It's a legitimate case. And due to the fact that this was the icing on the cake, it is now the last straw that of what Triple H and his creative team has done to this regime for the WWE. Fire Triple H and his whole team. Start all over. I don't care what anybody says. If this was Vince McMahon, he would have not sank this low between Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes. With Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes, you have a gold mine of a rivalry that you could bring it down for the rest of the year. These two men together, the rivalry that you could have brought within together, it goes all the way back to their legacy days. We're talking about close to 20 years based off the build between each other. And you give us a lackluster build like this? And this is the reason why that we brought up when fans kept telling over this show and during our podcast of why Triple H doesn't make any stars. He's making Cody Rhodes his most box office attraction, his QB1 star look completely irrelevant to the point this match is not even worth seeing to be watched at WrestleMania. The build hasn't been worth it. The story hasn't been worth it. The rivalry hasn't been worth it. And you also wasted the potential that you had with Randy Orton of him turning a heel. At this point, I don't even care who wins the WWE Championship because it's no longer worth seeing. It's no longer worth validating on whoever becomes champion. Whoever, if it's Cody Rhodes or Randy Orton, it does not matter anymore. This was one of the worst decisions by far that Triple H and his creative team has made. I believe Triple H should resign as head of creative. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what any type of fan says, like, oh, give Triple H a chance, or what stars he got, or what he has done or hasn't done yet, or give the stars breathing room. No. You do not come back from this. You cannot simply come back from this of a lackluster build, of a consistency of lack of creative new stars. And the icing on the cake, like I said before, was Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes. And you give us a build like this and you bring Pat McAfee in to ignite the rivalry to see if it might be must-see, but yet you want to bring in John Cena to bring in more ticket sales, to the fact that you want him to ignite more ticket sales for WrestleMania because it hasn't been sold out, all because of one man. We firmly blame Triple H for the lack of creative process that this WrestleMania has brought in, and WrestleMania 42 is no longer worth seeing this year in 2026. That's all I gotta say about that.
Julia lost her match yesterday in 2 minutes. She got squashed by Lash Legend. And there are too many people on here talking about that match as if it was Lash Legend's fault. No. A lot of us are happy that Lash won. That is not the issue. The issue is that WWE has positioned Julia to be a jobber when she was a massive star outside of the company. They essentially conned her. They said, hey, come here and we will push you to the top. You will be one of the most sought after women in professional wrestling. We will make you one of the biggest stars in the entire industry. And all they did was they stole someone from New Japan that AEW was very interested in signing, and they brought her in to do nothing with her. Sure, she was a 2-time United States champ. How did those reigns go? Who did she beat? She hasn't been positioned to do anything of note. She wasn't a Final Four in the Royal Rumble. She's never at the top of the ladder for the Money in the Bank. She doesn't get a big-time feud with a big-time name. There has been nothing that's happened for Julia the entire time she's been at WWE. She is a massive star outside of this company. If they let her go today, she goes back to New Japan, we'll be watching clips of her non-stop. She'll be working people like Thekla. She'll be working people like Mercedes Moné. She'll be working Willow Nightingale. She'll be working all over the world. I promise you, every other company in professional wrestling would treat Julia like she deserves to be treated like she's a massive fucking star. WWE just loves to take stars from other places and likes to present them as like, ooh, well, you're a little fish in a big pond. That's how they like to do it. They like to squash talent from other places because it supposedly helps their talent. I don't understand how this works. It's the most ridiculous thing that I've ever seen. And the worst part about it is they put her out there with someone that we're supposed to be excited about in Lash Legend, and nobody's talking about the fact that Lash Legend won this match and she has a chance to be the interim champion tonight. Nobody cares about that. You know why? Because WWE positioned Julia as a fucking jobber. That's the problem. That's what people are upset about. That's why she was trending #1 on Twitter yesterday. Because we noticed what WWE's doing. They took her and they made her into a loser. And that's not how you're supposed to present her. She was brought in with Stephanie to be the next crop, the two biggest stars for wrestling. They were supposed to take over for Rhea and Liv and Becky and Charlotte, and they haven't positioned either one of them. They had Stephanie Becerra go out there defend her championship against Liv Morgan in 7 minutes at WrestleMania. And then Julia gets squashed in 2 minutes after they presented Julia as if she was going to win yesterday. Oh yeah, let's have her do the walk-in like they do with every other big-time star on Monday Night Raw and Smackdown. Julia gets a special walk-in on social media only for her to get squashed? Don't tell me it's a fucking story. It's not a story. They messed this thing up. They messed her up. They ruined everything about her.
I'm planning to stop watching WWE for a full calendar month after SummerSlam, and here's why. To preface this video, I got into wrestling 2 years ago. I love this shit, man. This shit really makes my world go around. Seth Rollins is my favorite wrestler of all time. He's the guy that got me into it. So, Seth and Roman at SummerSlam, that's wrestling the finale to me, brother. But sadly, I am a creative critic at heart. You know what I mean? I see from the point of view of the guy who wrote it. I see from the point of view behind the pen. You know, and so when I sit to watch wrestling, man, this stuff don't sit with me well. You know, here's why. For some reason, it is just so apparent this company doesn't have time for itself. I don't understand how that's possible. Everything is a rush segment. Everything is like we're in, we're out. Everything is so. It doesn't even look like we want, like the people making the wrestling show want to do the wrestling show. It's stupid. Now, of course, I'm not dumb. It's not the wrestlers, right? It's not them that's making the product bad. Obviously, it's TKO, the guys who bought out WWE. But it's inexcusable. Do not get this twisted, right? I am not a hater of the Danhausen sets, right? I'm not a hater of silly, fun things. I actually think we should have more silly, stupid, really artsy, fartsy, dumb shit in wrestling, because I think that gives WWE its substance, right? Where AEW has different shit to look forward to. Finally said the hot word, AEW. Let's talk about it. I am not a tribalistic guy. I normally watch both products. On top of, obviously, NXT. I don't watch TNA. I'm not a liar. But I am not tribalistic. Do not get that twisted, right? But it's undeniable that AEW just fuck the product and its value and if it's good or it's bad. AEW just simply wants to do the wrestling show, simply cares about the wrestling business, and isn't willing to throw their fans under the bus and throw the wrestlers under the bus just to make a couple extra bucks. I don't know, am I tweaking to like that a little bit more? I just think things in the WWE are too optimized right now. It's too pretty, it's too clean. We don't take any chances. The wrestling sucks, dude. Oh, the wrestling blows, I won't lie. You'll be, 20, 30 minutes into a Raw episode, suddenly the Nikki Bella comes on, and the only reason I'm on the internet making a video about comparing the two is because it's night and day. This Will Ospreay, Jon Moxley, Death Rider storyline is beautiful. It's proving everybody wrong, because all they say is AEW can't make stories. It's proving everybody wrong. The way that they're handling the AEW championship, it's beautiful. MJF is this vessel to get people like Darby, to get people like Kevin Knight over, right? And to get not just not just in front of you on your team, but to get them over, dude. I wasn't a Darby Allin fan before his run. I've always liked Kevin Knight. I don't really like the shtick that all of those type of people go for, where it's like the Trick Willie gimmick, right? They're just doing better things. It's undeniable. How am I supposed to believe that you care about your wrestling show when the biggest one of the calendar year under your new regime on your new streaming service literally had statistically speaking, had under 50%, damn near 30% of wrestling on the whole thing, dude? It just harkens back to, like, it looks like we don't even have time for ourselves. Pisses me off. SummerSlam will be tuned in. Guys, lock in for All In. All of August, baby. Give Tony Khan 4 weeks. Watch the build-up, dude. Catch up on the Death Rider story. I'm telling you, Mox and Ospreay have my favorite chemistry on TV right now when it comes to the mic. I was telling my boy the other day, right? I was telling my boy that, dude, these wrestlers be rushing. Like, am I tweaking? When it comes to the dialogue, it's like, I'm going to beat your ass, and I'll see you on Saturday. And I'm like, whoa, come back. Say that like it's a real conversation, right? When somebody tells you something, you gotta listen and hear it first, and then process and say something. You don't just go ping pong, you know what I mean? That and I say that because John Moxley, Will Ospreay is the best example. I thought I was tweaking. I thought I was going, well, I'm looking a little bit too into it, right? This is it's a 2-hour show. We gotta rush, right? But then you flip the channel to AEW, and no, these guys are putting on actor type performances. They're putting on stellar performances, and when the pay-per-view comes, you're not scared the match is gonna go short, or that we're gonna have a squash match, a gimmick match, right? You're not afraid that even the gimmicky matches, right? A lot of people are complaining about the money on pole match this weekend. Even matches like Stadium Stampede, I guess we'll say Anarchy in the Arena, that's just rad. But even matches like that, because of how stellar of athletes AEW, how those guys really are, I mean, you're going to see guys get thrown off of places that literally physically shouldn't be possible to be thrown off of, doing moves that shouldn't be happening. And they're creative. They're just creative. This is a creative business, and WWE, although wants to be the showman-y brand, although wants to be the guy that does all the wacky, we're characters first and we're superheroes, they fucking hate doing it. I'll tell you that.